Let's begin with the story of a young university student after a long day, just wanted to get home and rest. She hurriedly entered her house, barely closing the door behind her, when something breathtaking occurred. Only 5 seconds later, 2 large men appeared on her front porch. One of them, without hesitation, grabbed the door handle and attempted to open it. The young woman's quick reflex to scream and threaten to call the police seemed to catch the intruders by surprise. However, what really stood out was their reaction. They appeared genuinely confused. Had they mistakenly entered the wrong house? The brief time between the young woman's arrival and the attempted break-in suggests they had seen her enter and still tried to force their way in. Anyone in their right mind would realize that someone was home, or at least recognize the owner before attempting to break in, right? But these men seemed to be faking their confusion. The strange behavior of the first man who turned to his accomplice, as if mentioning the camera before knocking on the door, made the situation even more sinister. Did they have innocent intentions, or were they indeed in the wrong house? In the early hours of October 16th in Kent, Washington, a couple faced what could only be described as a nightmare. After a peaceful night at the casino, they returned home, unaware they had been followed. Security cameras captured the husband unlocking the door. But only seconds later, the wife noticed something that made her freeze in place. An armed man was approaching. She reacted quickly, rushing inside and locking the door. In panic, they watched the suspect furiously hit the camera with his gun until he destroyed it. But the nightmare didn't end there. Another man appeared, making it clear this duo had sinister intentions. Fortunately, the couple escaped unharmed. Authorities later identified the armed man as Al Hussein, an 18-year-old who was arrested days later and faced several charges, including first-degree robbery. He pleaded not guilty, but the terror this couple experienced is undeniable. The lingering question remains: had they been followed from the casino, or was the attack random? And what would the men have done if they had gained entry? Now let's dive into something even more eerie and inexplicable. A TikToker named Nolan Brock captured a bizarre moment on his home security camera. The video, recorded while Nolan was peacefully on the couch around 1:39 a.m., shows the pantry doors beginning to open on their own. Accompanying this was a cracking or banging sound from inside the pantry. Still half asleep, Nolan initially thought it was just a draft and tried to go back to sleep. However, what happened next defied logic. At 1:43 a.m., one of the pantry doors suddenly slammed shut with enough force to eliminate any possibility of a simple draft. The loud sound echoed through the house, leaving Nolan with a racing heart and the unsettling feeling that something inexplicable was happening. Needless to say, Nolan didn't spend the rest of the night on the couch. This incident intrigued his TikTok followers, raising many questions about what could have caused such an event. In another chilling encounter, a woman named Caitlin was spending a normal day at the park with her son when she noticed something strange. Two men in a truck seemed to be discreetly following her. As she walked home, trying to stay calm, she decided to take a different route and entered through the back door to avoid them learning where she lived. 3 days later, Caitlin left town for a short trip. During her absence, her home's doorbell camera captured the same men at her front door at 3 a.m. They rang the doorbell several times, as if checking if anyone was home. Caitlin's husband, who had been sleeping, didn't realize the men had been there until he reviewed the footage the next day. The internet quickly filled with theories. Was the man watching Caitlin at the park planning to kidnap her son? Or was it simply someone acting erratically under the influence of drugs? While the man never returned, the fear of what could have happened continues to haunt Caitlin and her family. Finally, a bizarre scene was captured in El Paso, Texas, at 4:30 a.m. on April 29, 2023. The video shows a young woman running toward a house and desperately ringing the doorbell. No one else is visible, but the panic on her face suggests she's being followed. She repeatedly looks over her shoulder while ringing the bell, her fear growing with each moment. As no one answers the door, her pleas for help turn into sobs. Suddenly, a car's headlights illuminate the background. Seeing the lights, the woman hides behind a column. The garage lights turn on, but instead of seeking help, she hides even more. This strange moment raised doubts about her true intentions. After a few minutes, another car's headlights appear, and the woman cautiously walks down the stairs toward the vehicle. What happened next remains a mystery, as the camera doesn't capture whether she got into the car or if anything else followed. Once this footage was released, speculation ran wild. Some believed the woman was a victim of human trafficking, trying to escape her captors. Others, however, suggested something more sinister, like a setup for a robbery. Less than a month after the video was made public, El Paso police arrested a woman named Kren Nicole Cordaw, a 34-year-old charged with residential burglary. The similarity between Cordaw and the woman in the video led many to believe they were the same person, although police never officially confirmed the connection. To this day, it remains unclear if the woman in the video was ever seen in the neighborhood again.